The same light, the same experience that came down on that first Purim, that light is going to come down to us once again, every single year. That's why we know in the Jewish calendar that every single day is not commemorative. It's not a commemoration of something that once was. Every single day of the Jewish year in the calendar is an intensification of the light that came down at that time. An intensification, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Look down at the Kuf Pei. Important language to know. Ha'or hazeh, nikr b'loshen Arizal, the light that's going to come down on Purim. I remember being by Rav Daniel Katz, Purim, a couple of years ago, and he just, when Purim started, he came over to me, he's like, Moshe Chaim, just remember, Yesod Abba. It's like, excuse me? Yesod Abba.
I think it comes from the sun.
Yesod Abba?
The word Yesod Abba.
Yeah. The ore of Yesod Abba. So that ore of Yesod Abba, that's the energy. That's the essence of Purim that's going to be more and more intensified this Purim than ever existed before. She'in yonuhu hisgalus yichud Hashem yispam begilu yotzim b'li kisuyim. The idea of Or Abba, of Yesod Abba, is that there are zero coverings anymore. That's a pretty good thing. Absolute revelation. Yeah.
So what's the difference between like Purim and Mashiach?
Well, that Purim is like Mashiach because Purim is the Chag that's never going to end. But what you see on Purim is a taste of Mashiach. Yes.
Shema.
But Shabbos, Rav and Rav comes from Kesser, so it's higher?
Ravin de Ravin. Ravin de Ravin. Ravin de Ravin is a light of it. Sometimes things are higher, but it's not as much revelation. It can be complicated when you get into the details of it. The Yesod Abba is an or without kisuyim. The Kishemeira or Azeh, B'ol Hashem, B'nei Yerushalayim. We're building up Yerushalayim. The Kishemeira or Azeh, as a Nivroim Nechnosim LeBittel Gomer Mitoich Tanagnif. When this light shines, creation goes into an unbelievable nullification of pleasure. Where you just completely give yourself over to the light of Hashem, and the pleasure of that experience is so ultimate, is so great that it takes over every single fiber of your being. It's that pleasure when everything is just completely clear and that you're attaching to a bigger reality. Similar to when you were by a big tzaddik. When you're by a big tzaddik, there's a feeling of you're involved in this unbelievable light. And you're not thinking like, I'm nullifying myself. You're pulled into this experience. And the beauty of it is so amazing. When this light starts shining, as I call stars that bilbulim ne'lamim, all coverings, all confusion goes away. There's nothing but you, Hashem. Sounds like good stuff. But like we said, you only get it to the degree that you're working on it. Every single Yid is able to have the merit to feel with your entire heart a feeling that's totally clear. You get to a feeling of clarity that Hashem, you're in charge of everything. Nothing has any other power except for you, Hashem. Haman has no power. That's why Mordechai could stand up right where Haman is walking, and Mordechai doesn't bow, doesn't bend over for anything. Well, you think Haman, you think this evil human being has any power. It's all Hashem. So the light of Purim is such a tremendous light. It's a light, like we mentioned, of Netzach, that you can overcome, that there's no, evil is gone. You're not afraid of evil anymore. Because you realize evil has nothing. It's nothing. It's just, like we say on Rosh Hashanah, that when the Mashiach comes, that the evil will be ka'oshan tichle. It will be like the way that smoke just dissipates. You ever seen thick smoke and all of a sudden the wind comes and just blows it away? That the smoke looks so thick and so intimidating. And all of a sudden it just goes away. Like the Wizard of Oz, remember that? Pay no attention to the man hiding behind the curtain. Oz. Is somebody back there? No. You realize that evil is nothing. It's mamish nothing. Haman is nothing. There's nothing to be afraid of. Hashem is running everything. And therefore, with that confidence, you can overcome everything. All of our lower bad thoughts about ourselves, I could overcome my bad thoughts about myself and my non-self-confidence and the thoughts that tells me that I'm not worthy. All that stuff, that just goes away. Hashem is stronger than everything. I one time saw a very nice magnet at Rav Noach's house. I think Rebbe Weinberg made these magnets. She made a couple now. I know she made one. She should be healthy and well and live long. I think she made the one that said, Shabbos is not a day off, it's a day on. It's a good magnet. Right? Shabbos day off. No, it's a day on. It's when you really turned on. And then I remember seeing at her house, Reb Noach's house, Zatzal. I remember looking on the fridge and I saw this magnet. It just hit me so much. He said, don't tell God how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big God is. I always love that. It just hit me like, yeah, I'm like, God, oy vey, oy vey. No. You tell your problems, you know how big God is, I can get over anything. Sometimes little magnets have a way of, little quotes have a way of just sticking with us. Oh, v'loizu bilvad. Not only that, el lahavin lahakir shirak Hashem yisborach hu hametzias hamitis. The only reality is God. V'kol abriya botel lefano. There's nothing but you, Hashem. You are existence. You are reality. You are reality. Look down in the note. Kamay shekasha anu roim makel sheh. Like we see with a stick that hits somebody. We know with absolute clarity. You don't need to think about it. We don't look at that stick like, oh my goodness, that stick was out of control. No, the guy who had the stick and was hitting, it's all him. The stick was just a vessel. The stick had nothing of its own. In the end of days, we spoke about this. We spoke about Dogecoin and how in the end of days it says that the generation will be like a dog. Pnei hador k'pnei hakelev. The face of the generation will look like a dog. Will act like a dog. Will be all dog-like. And we explained in detail all the mefarshim on that Gemara that in the end of the days, before Mashiach comes, everything's going to resemble a dog. There's going to be a lot of dog comparisons. Dogs are very brazen.
No shame.
They have no shame. A dog will just come and sniff your tush.
Go to the bathroom first.
Yeah, go to the bathroom while they're looking in your eyes. It's like defecate. Excuse me? It's interesting, cats don't do that. Cats are tsanua. Cats are more modest. They go away. But a dog will just like make a pish, like just on you even, And you're like, excuse me? Do you have no shame? It kind of sounds like what's going on now. People will do anything. They'll post anything. Disgusting things. Like there's no shame anymore. And there's many, many other things. The Rabbi Yisrael Salanter had a famous one. And Rabbi Yisrael Salanter said that when you have a dog on a leash, so what happens? Oftentimes the dog runs in the front. So it makes it look like, if you didn't know any better, the dog is pulling the guy, even though really the guy's in charge, right? The guy's in charge. But it looks like, and when the guy moves, so the dog goes, so he said in the end of days, the politicians, the people, they're going to make themselves look like they're really leading it, but really they're just following whatever the constituents say. When the guy moves, so the dog will follow. They're making themselves look like they run everything, but they're spineless. They don't actually stand for something. It's just whatever gets them more votes. That's amazing how Chazal knew these things and how this would intensify in the end of days. One of the pshatim, in the end of days, it's going to be like a dog. Is dogs, when they get hit with a stick, they bite the stick. You fool. The guy is hitting you, not the stick. So it means in the end of days, when a person's getting whacked, he starts saying, oh, that guy he did it. And they don't realize that God's the one that's just wielding a stick. Haman's just a stick. Para is just a stick. Esav is just a stick. Goliath is just a stick. By the way, the Navi calls Goliath a dog. It's just a stick. We have to remember that it's just in the hands of Hashem. It's Hashem that's doing everything. So the Rebbe here says, Kach nizke lirois, b'chol davar b'briya, es Hashem yisborach shu oisei ha'penimi. Hashem is the one that's really doing it. V'loi nis yachas b'chlal l'chitzonius. Dahin l'kol inyoni ha'briya k'davar atzmi. Don't think that the stick is doing anything. It's Hashem who's moving the stick. It's Hashem who's moving the sun and the moon and the stars. Hashem is the one behind that's doing all the good things or the challenging things to wake us up. The degree that God moves through existence is so deep that we are just a vessel to bring out that light of God. I was learning with my chavrusa last night a section in Bittel where the Rebbe brought two mashalim from Michimayer. The first mashal is that Klal Yisrael is compared to a crystal vase. What's unique about a crystal vase? When light goes into the vase, what happens after it moves through the vase? It goes everywhere. And what does the light look like when it comes out of the vase? Beautiful rainbow colors, sparks of... It's beautiful. You ever seen the way light goes through a diamond? The way that the crystal is cut makes that something beautiful comes out. Now, is there any light inside the vase? No. The vase is not a source of light. Where's the light coming from? The light that's going into the vase. So what is the vase doing? The vase is able to take the light that came into it and reveal what was hiding inside the light. The vase has no light of itself. That's us. That's the creation. But the creation has a power that if we polish our vase, that includes our brain, sufficiently, when the light of God moves through us, we can reveal secrets about God's light which could have never been seen in the upper worlds. If you just meditate on that analogy, it is a very powerful analogy. And it's only an analogy, because in the analogy, the light and the vase are two different things. But in the reality, us, the vase, is also made out of Hashem's light. So we're a vase, but we're made out of Hashem's light, and Hashem's Or Ein Sof is passing through us, beings of light, and we're able to refract and reflect and reveal what was hiding in the essence of God in a way that can never happen in all the upper worlds. That's why the purpose of creation is this world. It's not for the angels. It's for us down here in this world. Then he gave another unbelievable analogy. A person speaking to a microphone. Now, if I was speaking to a microphone right now, and let's say there was a speaker on the wall, or I was in another room, you could actually believe that the speaker was talking, right? If you didn't know any better. Like, oh my goodness, is somebody inside that thing? Like, it's talking by itself. Right? No, but you know better that it's not. If I'm not talking to the speaker, then what is the speaker? It's a nothing. It's a nobody. But the speaker takes my voice and it amplifies it. It has nothing without my voice, but once my voice is put into it, it has a way of amplifying and actually taking that voice and making it greater, if you will. That's what the creation is. The light of God, God is that voice coming into us. But us as a creation, we can be the mouthpiece, we could be the speaker that can amplify, that could never happen just with the voice. Even though without the voice, the speaker is just dead material. A bunch of wires. Nothing. You hear these mashalim? These mashalim are nifla, of the connection of the creator and the creation. These mashalim make me go into unbelievable states of simcha and oinig, just pondering this. Especially the crystal vase. How when God's light comes into you, you can reveal something that was hiding in the light that could never otherwise be seen unless there was you, the crystal vase. Which means that's something that the angels can't do. It's only us. The angels are jealous of us.
Crystal speakers.
Crystal speakers. That's what we are. We're crystal speakers. It's a good name for a company. Crystal speakers. V'zeh keser malchus b'roisha. This is what it means, keser malchus. Ki Esther haisa merkava l'midas ha-malchus. Esther was the chariot for kingdom. L'shchina k'doisha. She gilui or Hashem yisma b'toich ha-nevroim. Esther represents what it means to have an absolute symbol of God's kingdom down here in this world. V'keser malchus in Yonahu. What does that mean? Keser malchus. Crown of the king. Shamalchus, she gilui or Hashem yisbal nevroim. Malchus is the way that God's light is expressed here in creation, which is called Shechina. Shechina is a code word for Malchus. Malchus is a code word for Shechina. Misgalis loy rak ba'oifen shel melech. Sheyesh am v'yesh melech. Ela ba'oifen shel keser. Shehi akara she'ein oid milvadoi. That there's a power of God's kingdom that doesn't only reveal itself when it comes into a creation, but there's a power of God as God is in his essence. Essentially, that you get to a level on Purim of total clarity that there's only you, Hashem. Ein oid milvadoi. So much so that Chazal gave us a mitzvah of mechayiv inish lebesumei. Mechayiv. Mechayiv means you're obligated to get spicy. Besumei. To get fragrant. To get into a good zone. Ad lo yada ben oraham and leborach modchai. Mechayiv inish lebesumei. This is our mission. Siyat d'shmaya. And when a person gets this, they get the mid of netzach, that nothing can stop a person when they're doing that. There's nothing that stops a person when they're living that world that Hashem, it's for you, and it's not for me. It's only for you, Hashem, to bring your malchus into the world, that just to be that vase that could reveal your malchus. It's for the purpose of being Megala, Megillas Esther, Giluia Hester, just to reveal what was hiding, to reveal those colors that were hiding in that light, to reveal the voice that was there but now could be amplified to the whole world. And that's the ultimate prayer that when Mashiach comes, Yemali ha'aretz as De'as Hashem kamayim aliyam mechasim, that in the end of days, the whole world will know God like water covers the sea. If I had to ask you, what do you see on the sea? Do you see, you're like, what do you mean? It's water. That's all I see, right? It just fills. It's so obvious. Like there's nothing out. It's one of those like, duh. It's just mayim. It's all water covering the sea. I always like when I go swimming to like go out a little bit, where you go out enough that there's no shore, but like you don't see anything. You just see endless sea. You know those feelings? You just feel like it's so big and so endless. You just see ocean. It's very clear what's going on. Water. When Mashiach comes, it's going to be so clear for all of humanity. The whole of humanity is going to know. There's only going to be one station. Just everything is going to be God related. Every podcast, everything, every internet address, everything. It's just going to be one thing, just Hashem, and sharing more about Hashem, and more and more and more and more. And therefore those that are, you might call them early investors, who are learning Torah, so the world's going to come to you. They're going to want to know things. They're going to want to know about Hashem. LeBron's going to run. He's going to teach me a Mishnah. I hear Claudius is holding in Peah right now. They started the second parak. Mishnah Yomi, teach me a Mishnah. There's nothing else. Push. There's nothing else in the world. We should be saying this Bekar of Amen. Amen. Bezrat Hashem. Kol Tuv, Chevra. A wonderful afternoon.